Yes, guys, you're locked into another episode of the Red Sea podcast, and we're here with your full-time show. Liverpool 2, Leicester 0. The Anfield Liverpool faithful, we roar on and we close the gap to Manchester City again with a game in hand. Let's run with the intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Yes, guys. And I'm going to start the show with this.
I had to get involved.
And then we finish with this. Diego Jota, 2 goals. What's that, 17 goals this season, mate?
Flying, isn't he?
Do you know, this is interesting. Glenn Hoddle in the match commentary said that he believes that this is Jurgen Klopp's best signing. I don't think it is.
Big shout. There's a lot of players in that list.
As much as it pains me to say, and guys, in the comments, we're going to talk about this a little bit later on. We'll save it towards the end of the show, but I'll say that. No, we'll save it to the end of the show because I know who I think Jurgen Klopp's best signing is.
I think that's a great question.
I'm sure SS has an idea, and I'm going to give a clue. For me, it's not this man, but
Ooh.
I'm sure SS has some ideas, and also it's not Thiago either. So yeah, I know who I'm picking, but I'm sure you guys might have other ideas. So let's get into the drama, and we'll go into the game, and we're sitting here thinking, yeah, we should kind of put this to bed. Leicester at home, we're a fully fit squad, other than Henderson, who's carrying a slight knock. But apart from that, we've now got no injury concerns across the whole entire team, which is a fantastic place to be. The strength in depth on offer is unrivaled at the moment, other than Manchester City. No one else, I believe, in the Premier League has a compatible squad with what Liverpool have now in terms of the strength and depth which we boast across all positions in the park. And we were talking last night about whether Diaz would make his debut, and I called it.
You did?
I knew it.
I got it wrong.
I knew he'd get the run out. Yeah, I knew he'd get the run out because I just thought to myself, it makes sense to play him. You know, we had a couple of minutes in the last game, in the cup game. And then, he was obviously raring to go. And he was so bright. And that link-up play between him and Andy Robertson
was quality.
At the heart of everything that Liverpool were doing. I mean, SS, what were your thoughts?
No, I agree. I mean, I did think Salah would start, but I'm glad he featured, which I'm sure we're going to get onto later, because I know you weren't particularly pleased that he did come on the pitch. But in terms of Diaz's first game, wow, like you say, all over the place, sliding tackles, getting on the ball, being hungry, aggressive, running at the defenders with the ball at his feet. Everything that we've seen in these YouTube clips of him at Porto, when you think, is that a transferable skill? To quote you last night, can he transfer that kind of level of ability from the Portuguese league into the Premier League? And yes, Leicester aren't in the greatest of form, but they're still, on paper, the top 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in England. So it is still a decent challenge. And I thought it was a breath of fresh air to see him come in and almost hit the ground running. And again, to quote Glenn Hoddle, he said that, it feels like he's been a Liverpool player for a while. He's just kind of slotted in. All his attributes kind of suit the way Liverpool play. So like we said in the transfer Tuesday or the transfer Monday on the deadline day, it's definitely someone we've been looking at for a while and identified that's going to slot in there and work perfectly. So to see that nice link up with Robbo and Diaz was sensational. We've seen it with Mane down that side for a number of years, but I think Diaz offers something slightly different to Mane. He's not quite such a speed merchant in behind on your bike. He likes the ball to feet. He likes to beat the player, take the player on, and some decent efforts from outside the box tonight as well.
Totally, and he was showing that he's got a repertoire of finish as well. Like you said, ball into feet, and he's happy to stand a man up and try and beat him. The tenacity is absolutely cracking as well. He does give me sly Luis Suarez vibes just the aggression. But I think that's a South American thing. I think they're all like that from that neck of the woods. They all want to fight for everything, which is good. And again, that is just so much of a Jurgen Klopp style player.
Definitely.
Let's just go into a couple of these comments whilst we're on the topic as well. Where are I? There you go. Diaz was cracking first game. I totally agree. Yes, mate. How are you? It's good to see you back in here again, pal. Thought Diaz was neat and tidy. He'll learn our system. He's tailor-made for us, mate. I think he knows the system already. I think he knows. He's come on the end of. He's come off on the end of it for Porto. Took a slapping from at Porto, so I think he knows the system. To be fair, and he didn't look out of place. The only time that was questionable in his performance is he almost kind of cut off Jota's run on a couple of times, looking for the ball to feet. But I think he wanted to combine with Jota to try and get in behind. So I can see the intelligence of the player. To be honest, as well.
I thought that
post-match interviews.
He's one of those players that want the ball at his feet all the time. He wants to be involved, but also I felt a lot of the time he did give and go quite a lot. He wasn't selfish at all. He was looking for the players. He had his head up. So he's almost like a hybrid between a Thiago and a Mane. He likes to get the ball. He likes to run with the ball, but he also likes to get his head up and look for that threaded pass as well. So I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well. I just think that at the end of the day, it's a great additional option for us. And what I sincerely hope from the Diaz transfer is that this is another option for us.
Yeah,
it's not a replacement. And that's the only caveat that I will place on this signing, is that the performance today was fantastic. This is an addition, not a replacement. Because if we harbour hopes, and again, Glenn Hoddle, and do you know what? Credit to Glenn Hoddle, actually decent commentary tonight. Normally he's a shithouse, but decent commentary tonight.
I always enjoy him.
From Glenn. No, you do, and again, he's probably one of England's most gifted players that we've ever seen in terms of technical ability. He was just unable to replicate that on the football pitch of that current crop. So you always give credit to Glenn Hoddle, wonderful football brain that he does have. But his commentary is always a little bit boring. Do you know what I mean? It's not exciting. It's not Mike and Tyler. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's live. It's not that type of thing. Yeah? So I will give Glenn Hoddle some flowers tonight. The commentary was decent. But like I said, he was mentioning that Liverpool's strength in depth is unreal, and also he highlighted the fact that we're challenging on all four fronts still.
Yes.
We're still in the hunt for the Premier League, regardless of what Manchester City fans say. We're 9 points behind you with a game in hand and still have to go to the Etihad to play you. It's not all done dusted. Liverpool could have a big say in where this title heads come the end of the season. We're in the Champions League group stages, knockout rounds, and we play against Inter Milan on Tuesday. Going to the San Siro, looking to wrap them up in the same way we wrapped up AC Milan. Also, League Cup final against Chelsea. Chelsea are faltering a little bit, although they're stringing together a couple of wins. They're over at the Club World Cup. That's not going to do them any good coming back from that and having to face, Liverpool with the impetus that Diaz has given us. So we potentially could nail a trophy down there as well. We're progressing the next round of the FA Cup. There is much to be happy about, in the red side of Liverpool. I'm not so sure about the blue side of Liverpool, but definitely in the red side of Liverpool, there's lots to be ecstatic about.
Imagine if Everton went out to Boreham Wood. That would just be the final nail, wouldn't it?
I'm praying for it. I'm going to tap up my boy Ty Marsh and say, listen, you need to bag. You need to do it for all us boys, all us Bedford boys. Yeah, go there and bag. Yeah, because we need those boys to be out, because the banter will be unreal if Everton go out against Boreham Wood. But yeah, hey ho, that's how it goes. So let's get into the game. We've waxed lyrical about Diaz. We kind of know where he's at. We know what we've got. We've brought an absolute stellar signing in that player. But let's talk about Jota's performance, because 2 goals again.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The comment of Jurgen Klopp's best signing, I think, is a little bit too much at this stage, but he's been good. He's been bright. 17 goals so far this season is a fantastic return. for a player of Jota's caliber. And the interesting thing that Glenn Hoddle said as well is that we almost brought him as an understudy, as a backup, but he's come in saying, "No, I'm better than that. I'm good enough to play as a starter in your team," and he's nailing down and earning his starting position. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like you say, I think he came in, when that front three trinity was, really strong, really hard to kind of shift a couple of seasons ago. And yeah, I agree with you. He's come in and said, you know what, no chance, mate. I can play left. I can play down the middle. He started on the right today and looked good as well. Always available in the box, Fox in the box. And I already think he's better than Firmino. Sorry for the Firmino fans out there, but I don't see how he fits in anymore. I genuinely don't. If we've got Mane or Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, Jota's got to play. His goal scoring record, that's what strikers do. And I understand we've played with a false nine for such a long time, but we need goals, and goals win you games and titles. And Diogo Jota is fantastic. He scores so many different types of goals. You look at the goals against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. He went on a run for the first one, picked it up on the left, beat 3 players and bagged it in the bottom corner. Second one comes across, takes a touch on his chest and lifts it over the goalie. And then tonight he's reacting to a loose ball in the box. 2 assists for the centre backs tonight, which is a strange one. Van Dijk in the first half, Matip in the second, but he's always available. He's always ready. His ears are like pricked up like a fox in the woods. He's sort of always ready and listening, and always ready to pounce when the ball comes his way. So I think he's absolutely brilliant. That the fee at the time was 45 million. I think it was a good deal all round. I think Wolves were happy with that. I don't think it broke the bank for us either. Again,
of course it didn't. It was 5 million up front and the rest on the fucking never. Of course it didn't break the fucking bank.
What did you call it last night? The Bright House or something, didn't you? That was brilliant.
Yeah, that's on the Bright House chat. Of course
but yeah, break the bank. His goal record is phenomenal, isn't it? It's got better and better. He scored hat-tricks away in the Champions League, and I think he's now he's closing down Mo Salah for top goal scorer in the Premier League. So if you're being mentioned in the same breath as him for goals scored, you're not doing badly, are you?
Yeah, mate, Kai. Let's call it as it was. Yeah, it's on the Bright House chap. Yeah, it's not. That's not great value for money. We've got it on what we refer to as Chucky. This is on
Bright
the
House.
Chucky.
I love that.
Yeah, on the Bright House, mate. That's what that is, chap.
Yeah, but he's not here to sit on the bench, is he?
No, he's not. He's not here. He's not here to sit on the bench, mate. But great wheeler dealing from Edwards and Julian Ward. That 5 M's up front and the rest payable over the never. Fucking love it. Yeah.
Bright House FC.
Yeah, mate. Do you know? I'll take it. I don't give a damn. No shame around here, mate, because we have got a stellar player. And the funny thing is when when we signed him, all the Wolves fans are like, "Yeah, good riddance. Thanks for taking him off our hands. We fleeced LFC." Who's laughing now?
Do you know, it's a great point that you make, because obviously Arsenal were playing Wolves tonight, weren't they? And I watched a bit of Talking Wolves and AFTV preview the game, and they asked about Jota, and he was saying, at the time he had Jimenez, Traore, Podence, and Neto all ahead of Jota, and I was thinking, really?
How?
Yeah.
How?
Not sure how or why, but like you say, obviously Liverpool saw something that Wolves didn't, because Jota is better than all of those 4. And he's showing it. Well, I mean, like you say, how many goals have those 4 scored this season? It's definitely not as many as Jota that combined, is it at all? So
look, there's a lot there's a lot to be said for the supply and the quality of player that he's playing around. But I'm not being funny. Yeah. Marginal gains and incremental gains, is what you normally see with those kind of things. But bro, he's bagged 17 goals. Like, come on, let's give Liverpool scouting department a fucking round of applause.
Big time.
Let's do it. Come on, everybody in the
I need to get a Jota shirt next season. I'm sure, home or away, it's got to be done,
mate. Because he's unreal. And do you know what, Kai? I'll give you this. I like this kid as well. And I honestly think that Neto could have a similar effect if he was to receive the standard of coaching that he gets, that Klopp gets at Liverpool Football Club. But let's dissect the goals. So the first goal for Diogo Jota, SS, talk me through it.
Yeah, so the quarter comes through. Van Dijk obviously is an absolute machine in the box. He scored against Palace last week with a header. He tried again, something similar. I think Schmeichel will be slightly disappointed to just kind of, Schmeichel is a top goalie for me. I think he's one of the most underrated goalies in the world. So to drop that straight at Jota's feet, I think was poor. But like we said, Jota is available for all kind of goals. He's scoring from outside the box. He's scoring on runs, and he's alive. You know, the ball falls to him. He's in the right place at the right time, and you know, it's not a difficult finish, but it's instinct. Yeah, you know, it's not a coincidence that he's there. He's where the ball drops. You know, Firmino could be there. Firmino's playing as the number 9, but Jota, even starting on the right wing, is in that number 9 predator position. You know, and then again in the second half, you know, when he moves central, you know, we'll get onto that in a minute, but he's always in the right place, and that's how you score these goals. You know, half of them can be made by yourself, do the hard work, but to get those kind of tally in those double-figure goals, you have to be getting every goal that comes your way, every type of goal. So I think Leicester could have done better. I think that's our 10th goal from a corner this season. Man United haven't scored a corner in a year, so it's a nice little trait to have, isn't it?
So I want to dissect this because there's a lot to be said from you know, the movement of Virgil van Dijk, but Leicester City's marking was diabolical. it was virtually non-existent, and every single corner they were just leaving him available. How do you leave a defender the size and powerhouse of Virgil van Dijk available to just get up and rise up and just start slapping headers at your goalkeeper? And then I'm not buying into this that Kasper Schmeichel couldn't have done better. There's something called the line of deflection that goalkeepers talk about. Yeah. The line of deflection, and it's where you look to parry that ball. And I'm sorry, if you parry it into the danger zone, into that danger zone, into the mixer, which is what it's called, you've put that into the mixing bowl. What do you expect? I talked to my 11-year-old son about this. Yeah. If you parry a ball to a striker, expect to have the ball rammed down your throat, and 100%. That's what Diego Jota's done. It's standard. He's rammed the ball down Kasper Schmeichel's throat, and all it is in that position as a striker. All you do is you hit it as hard as you possibly can in between those two white things,
with
the bar on top of it, and it's going in. Yeah, it's going in. So Kasper Schmeichel, no, you could be considered as one of the best goalkeepers in and around world football. Not the best, but you're in and around that territory. You know, that's poor from you. That's poor from you. And again, if you're expecting your makeshift defense to do you a job, then no, it's not going to happen. It's a makeshift defense of Ndidi and whoever else is in.
Marty, I was just going to say, I think that's the difficulty, isn't it? Because when we went away to them and lost 1-0, it was that centre-back partnership as well. And that's why I felt that we didn't really test them enough, because we love putting crosses in, especially corners when you've got the big men up there. And we didn't do it away from home. And tonight, like you say, you know, they're missing Evans and Soyuncu, the tallest, biggest players, the best kind of players at clearing set pieces, and they weren't there. And like you say, you put it in the danger zone. Van Dijk versus 0 centre-backs equals a goal, whether it's directly from him or leads to one.
100%, and they just didn't learn their lesson. He got up and rose probably about 2 or 3 times. Yeah. And every single time it was boom. And it's just like, mate, if you're going to do that, then expect to get punished, you know, and you got your just desserts. I really, really think. This is an interesting comment. They can't handle Verge. They just hope for the best when the ball comes in. Verge is massive, quick, and these days the VAR's smallest rough is rough up.
Totally agree with that.
You know, I agree with you, but I'm sorry. You're told in a man-to-man marking situation, body to body is what you're told. Compact, body to body, because you know the dark arts of defending is all about restricting the run, restricting the movement, making it compact. You know, and obviously Virgil van Dijk is an absolute unit. He's a powerhouse. Yeah, we know he's going to be able to rise up and get a little bit something, but at least make it difficult for him. At least make it hard. They didn't even make it hard. You know, Leicester, look, at the end of the day, you're languishing mid-table. We're challenging. So if you want to keep
another loss for them,
be my guest. Isn't that 3 on the bounce?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they got 26 points. You know, they're a lot closer to the relegation zone than they are the top 4. Put it that way.
like we said on in the preview show the other day, when a question's going to be asked about Rodgers' job, when a question's going to be asked, and I don't think it's too far away from that. You saw the reaction of the Leicester City players when they were leaving the field. They're fed up. They're fed up. You know,
Yeah.
and this is an interesting one. The pre-match build-up. Rio, sorry, was it Rio Ferdinand? Was it Rio? Who was saying on the pre-match? Someone was saying on the pre-match about how can they expect? I think it was Michael Owen. How can they expect to keep their best players if they finish 10th? Last year, and I think Robbie Savage said it as well. Before, Leicester would have seen a step up from like someone like an Arsenal, whereas now Arsenal is seeing a step up for someone like a Leicester. Did you see what I'm saying? Leicester are now a stepping stone, ever more than they ever have been. You know, in the year they won the league, players probably would have stuck around. They were getting into Europe, Champions League football, European football. Now they're in 10th in the league. They're not going to make Europe. They're not going to make Europe. It's too compact up there. Arsenal are fighting for it. Spurs are fighting for it. United are fighting for it. You know, how do they expect to make Europe unless they go? West Ham are fighting for it. There's better teams challenging on that front at the moment that are playing better football than them. And how long do we continue to start talking about, oh, they've got injuries? No one gave us any. No one gave us any slack. No one gave us not even one bit of slack. It was no, you're Liverpool Football Club. You should be winning it. You know, why aren't you winning the Premier League? Well, hold on a second. The whole squad is depleted. No, it's not good enough. I want the same energy for Leicester.
So, I agree with you. I mean, sorry, go on, mate.
No, go.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, I agree. You know, if they finish what they're sitting in 12th at the minute, you know, if they finish 10th or below, which looks, they're not going to come in the top 8, are they? Wolves and up are all going to come above them. So maybe 9th is the best they could hope for. You know, you look at the team lineup, for example, Maddison and Tielemans. They're the two that I'd look at if I was an Arsenal, a Spurs, a West Ham, or a United. We need to try and close the gap on City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. You need to try and buy the best of the rest of the league. And I think Tielemans and Maddison would say, do you know what? Another season in mid-table, you know, we're both in our mid-20s now, or do we go and have a go? You know, and like you say, it is becoming that stepping stone, because you look at the likes of Maguire. Yes, he's not been brilliant, but he's gone on to captain Man United. Chilwell's gone on to play for Chelsea and won the Champions League. So these players are all clicky. They all know, they're all still mates. They're all still on the WhatsApp. So they'll see it as a rite of passage and think, do you know what? I'm now the star player in this Leicester team, and the rest of this team are letting me down. I'm gonna look to move on. And why shouldn't they? You know, Liverpool have always lost their best players before we started to become, you know, amazing. We lost a lot of Alonso, Mascherano, Suarez, because we weren't at that level. Yeah. So when you get decent, good, you know, not necessarily world class, but definitely very good, you know, it's impossible, because even from a financial point of view, you know, Leicester have become used to getting at least Europa League money, and now they've dropped in the Conference League. Unless they win that, which, you know, they could do, but not playing like this, not with never ever getting a clean sheet. They could have a whole season of no Europe again. And yes, the injuries could come back, but does that really turn this Leicester team into a top 6 team? I don't know.
I totally agree with you. It's tough in that respect, and the Premier League is getting more and more competitive. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aston Villa getting in amongst it in the next couple of years.
Newcastle have a big summer.
The football they're playing, you know, it is one of those ones. And I'm going to hit this comment here as well.
I've been singing his praises for a while, you know.
And now look,
I don't know. I think it's harsh. I think he's a very good player in a very poor team. He didn't even start tonight because they played Dewsbury Hall, who was on loan at Luton, my home club. Looks a little bit out of his depth tonight, if I'm honest, but I think Maddison and Tielemans have definitely got a move in them to go up to the top 6.
No comment.
I mean, let's put it this way. Look, is Tielemans and Maddison better than Xhaka? Are they better than Harry Winks? Are they better than Oliver Skip? Yes. Are they better than Fred?
But Arsenal are not deserved of the top 6. Spurs are not deserved of the top 6.
No, but if they want to close that gap, these are the sort of players that will improve those teams, and eventually these players are going to go, the move's worth it.
No. Listen, yeah. Let's be subjective about this. Yuri Tielemans does not go into at Arsenal and drag them into the top and
Oh
give
no,
them the
I'm not.
impetus to kick into the top four. James Maddison does not go to an Arsenal and give them the impetus to go into the top four.
No, not alone, but they are improvements to their 11s.
Anything's a fucking improvement to their 11s. I could be an improvement to their 11s. It's not difficult,
That's
son.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It's not difficult.
You know,
That's not.
Conte's
That's not a
going to
big
be
up.
looking, isn't he, in the summer?
That's
He's going
not
to
a
be
big up.
saying,
That's not about how great Telemans and Madison are. That's about how shit Arsenal and Spurs are. Like let's put this in. Let's put this in context. Yes, big up yourself, Kai. Look, love it.
but you know, but I agree with you. However, they are both 10 and 13 points ahead of Leicester. So at the end of the season, that could be more. So I think Maddison and Tielemans, if they get a chance to move to anybody in the top 6, 7, I think they may look at moving this summer.
We need to address this comment.
That's what both players. Oh, come on.
Yeah, Sean.
Homegrown. Can't be getting rid of Curtis Jones.
Yeah, Sean. Give your head a wobble, pal. Please.
I thought he had a good game tonight, Curtis Jones. A little bit of a cameo from Elliott coming on as well.
He was all right. He was all right. I thought he was okay. It wasn't the best football I've seen Curtis Jones play. Play. I think he was quiet for large spells, to be honest. But I don't know if that was, sometimes, especially when you're watching a game of football on the TV and the commentary is constantly on someone's name, you're automatically drawn to that person's movement.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult for you to sit and watch a game subjectively, especially a game like today. So I don't want to sit here and do Curtis Jones a disservice because he was probably nip and tuck and plucking away and doing everything right tonight. His name just wasn't up in lights. So I will say that he had a decent game. Let's switch to the second goal. And it took a long time coming. And in between, it took a long time coming. And Liverpool made some changes to try and inject a little bit of impetus into that. But before we discuss those changes, because I know that you and I have got some very different points on these changes, and before I open up Pandora's box, talk to us about the goal.
Yeah, so like you said, it felt like one of those games. Was it last season or the season before where we were 1-0 up so many times and we threw it away against Leeds, against Newcastle, always, that 1-goal lead. Brighton away was another one. You're always a little bit worried. So I felt that the subs, which we'll get into in a minute, were the right decision at the time of the game. But in terms of the goal, again, it comes from a little bit of play from Luis Diaz on that left-hand side, cuts the ball in. Matip's still up from a corner, plays the ball through. Jota's miles onside. He knows where the goal is. He doesn't even need to look at the goal and smashes it. And Schmeichel even gets a touch, but it's enough in the corner with enough power to take it past him anyway. So again, could Schmeichel have done better? Possibly, but Jota's just that guy. He reminds me a little bit of Michael Owen. Michael Owen scored those kind of goals where, you whack it over the top Jamie Vardy style and you can't catch him. But as he progressed within that Liverpool team, 2003, 2004, he was like that. He was just on that shoulder and he didn't need to play on that edge of offside because he had that initial burst. And I think Jota's got that as well, whether that's a combination of a little bit of pace, but a little bit of nous as well. He just seems to know where the goal is. He knows where to be. It just reminds me of that kind, he's that kind of style, that kind of body size and shape as well. He's not going to win you, kind of battling away. I think he's a little bit more dogged than a Michael Owen, but he definitely does have that to his game. But I just feel that, he can score any type of goal. And that was another example of a different type of goal that he scored. And that was a nice little, that's the win.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk about the finish. The movement was absolutely fantastic. Does well to stay on side. Kind of occupies the position in between and in behind the defensive line. And straight away, when the ball slipped through, it's just a touch and swivel, isn't it? In the shot and the shot's away. And what it does is it doesn't give Kasper Schmeichel any real chance to react. Kasper Schmeichel is famed for those big, solid hands that he gets on balls and beats balls away. But at point blank range, it's gonna be very, very hard for you to try and keep that out of the net. We got a hand to it, but it just rolls into the back of the net, doesn't it? And the celebrations would suggest that the result wasn't in doubt. Now, look,
a lovely ball from Matip, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a sensational ball from Matip, and do you know what? This isn't anything new from him. It's nothing new from
Mm.
him. And one day he's going to get his fucking flowers because
He deserves a goal.
not even that. In my mind, looking outside of the usual suspects, i.e., your Virgil van Dijk being, one of the best Premier League defenders and best defenders in the world, your Ruben Diaz also being an accomplished defender, one of the best in the Premier League, if not one of the best in the world. We've got Varane in the Premier League at the moment. Champions League La Decima Varane. And I'm sorry, let's be very, very honest. And again, this is not a direct slur at Manchester United fans. This isn't me getting tucked into Rafa Varane, because Rafa Varane is an absolutely star-studded defender. But Joel Matip is walking all over him. Joel Matip's walking all over it. And it's just showing that Joel Matip is often dismissed because of his injury record. But this kid has been a baller. This kid has been a baller from the moment we signed him. This kid has been a baller from his time at Schalke. I've watched Joel Matip for years, not only through Liverpool, but also with his time at Schalke. And this kid has always been a baller. What you're seeing here is nothing new from him. The ability to step out and break lines and run and go through and play players in is something he has always done. This isn't new to his game. Harry Maguire does it and everyone turns around and claps him and says, "Oh my freaking God, what a stellar player," when really he's shit. Ben White does it and goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe that he can play out in the same way." John Matip's been doing this for the last probably 3-4 seasons in a Liverpool shirt.
And like you say, Maguire,
going to take note.
Maguire 80 million, Ben White 50 million, Matip 3.
Exactly. When are people going to take note? When are people going to take note? He is up there amongst the best Premier League defenders currently playing the game. He really is. So look, I'm gonna open the debate. And the reason why I want to open the debate, and I want to open the floor up to the guys in the comments as well. Because I was really vocal about this on the pre-match show, and I'm really, really vocal. I'm going to be really vocal about it now, and I was really vocal about it throughout the whole entire game. As far as I'm concerned, Mohamed Salah had no business being on that football pitch today. And the reason why I say he has no business being on that football pitch today, and I'm not getting at Jurgen Klopp's decision, because Jurgen Klopp is a god as far as I'm concerned. But he got this one wrong. And I understand the reasons why, he's put him in, because he's just come back from the African Cup of Nations. The Liverpool fans have turned out in their droves on the Thursday night to see us wipe the floor with Leicester, and the Egyptian king wants his homecoming. I get it. But that tackle in the box could have ended so bad. We all sat there and went, "Oh my God, please no." And I take on board your points when we were talking in the comments about how long do you wrap him in cotton wool. But the kid's just stepped off the fucking plane, man. You can see he's still got the tan. He's just stepped off the plane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was sunny out there.
He's just stepped off the plane. Like the strength, and this takes me into the next part. The strength in depth we now have. We've sat and waxed lyrical about we now have a full strength squad to choose from. Yeah, everybody is fit in the forward line position. Everybody is fit. Taki, Origi, Firmino, Jota. You've now got Diaz in there as well. Everybody's fit. You can't include Mane in that, and I'm not going to include Salah in that. It's a huge risk to throw in Mohamed Salah after basically stepping off a flight 2 days ago, and also having played like 400 minutes worth of football.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got some very valid points. We saw Thomas Partey come back against Liverpool in the Cup and play, and he came on and he looked all over the place, didn't he? And got a red card pretty much straight away, but he'd actually came back that day. I think he'd arrived 12 p.m., back in the country and came on the pitch at about 9:30. So that was definitely the wrong decision. However, I will respectfully disagree, because I don't disagree with any of your points. I think all your points are actually spot on. However, just in terms of the actual decision to play or not to play, I personally am happy that he did. And I think Mo Salah's different, isn't he? He's an absolute machine. And I think he came back on Monday. He trained Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's not like he's literally just stepped off the plane. So he has trained for a couple of days. I think he's one of them players where he's so disappointed with the Egypt thing. He just wants to get over it and get on with it and get his head back in the Liverpool shirt and back in the game for that. So he wants to just straight back in. And Jurgen Klopp would have had a good chat with him. They would have assessed his fitness. They would have assessed, is there any knocks? Is he carrying anything, any jet lag, anything like that at all?
They would have assessed his mental well-being as well, because that's a huge part. They would have assessed his mental well-being.
Completely agree. And obviously they've come to the decision that mentally, physically, the best decision is to not start him in the game, but ease him back in, give him half an hour, depending on the way the game is going. And it wasn't a really high intense game, was it? I think we were absolutely chilling at 1-0. And even though it was that kind of score where you're like, again, I felt comfortable, but I still felt that we needed a little bit more impetus, because Leicester at 1-0, I think they would have felt they were in the game. I think when Mo Salah comes on, they're like, for fuck's sake. You can't really leave anybody at the back in an already makeshift back four to go and get that equaliser. You've got to look after the best player in the world. And I'm happy he came on. Curtis came off for Harvey Elliott, because Elliott needs the minutes. He's just come back. Thiago got a 90 minutes in him, which was fantastic to see. I really enjoyed seeing him play today. I think he had a great game. But I just think that Mo Salah is one of them players that needs consistent minutes. And I'm not going to disrespect the AFCON, because I enjoyed it. However, 90% of the time, Mo Salah was standing up front, being marked by 3 players, waiting for the ball in those 120-minute games, and stepped up sometimes to score a goal, sometimes to get an assist, sometimes to score a penalty and get them through. I don't feel that he was absolutely knackered in terms of coming back from that tournament. I think he was ready to go straight back in again. And, yes, he wasn't his unbelievable self. He had a one-on-one with Schmeichel. He did that big palm that you mentioned earlier with the one-on-one. He probably should have squared it. There was another chance down the right-hand side. Again, he could have probably pulled it back to Thiago. He's so hungry to get back amongst the goals again and get back to the top of his game in a top team. And he had that really good chance as well, where he kind of curled it round and it kind of hit the kind of crossbar post corner as well. Yeah, exactly. So, we got Burnley.
A couple of people have fallen foul to that, being Alisson Becker being one in the Champions League. Yeah,
when he was like that. But, like you said, with the Cotton Wolf, we got Burnley at the weekend. For me, half an hour against Leicester in preparation for a physical game is better than, here you go, here's Salah in cold from the start. Burnley are going to be, putting me, Tarkowski up against him. Big, strong, physical tackles. It's the Premier League. Yes, if he'd have got injured tonight, hindsight's a brilliant thing. You'd have said, you know what? He's got that wrong. You didn't need to put him in. We did it with Jota, didn't we? He played in a pointless, dead rubber Champions League game and he missed 3 months. Didn't need him. It backfired massively. But
that's it.
As I say, it's hindsight. If he gets injured tonight, we all bow down to TF and say you're spot on. He's got half an hour in him. He's had a couple of decent chances, and I think he starts against Burnley, and I think he wins us that game based on that now.
No, I get it, and that was my fear. That was my biggest fear.
Yeah,
we throw Jota into a shitty Champions League game against
you're not
Michelin,
wrong.
And he's out for 3 months in a pivotal season where we were having a shit season anyway.
Yeah,
so I just had visions. And when you see him go down like that, you're thinking, "Oh my fucking god, Jurgen, you've done it again." Did you know what I mean? Like you're like Jurgen, like, "Oh, you've done it again," like bro, like, do you know what I mean? You're like, dude, I love you, but right now I hate you. Like, what are you doing? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
It's that kind of moment, and you also think about the cold weather as well. It's 3. It was like, I checked the weather on my weather app, being a Saturday. It was like 2 degrees. And I'm sitting there thinking, he's just stepped off a flight. Like I know what it's like when I get back from a hot holiday. As soon as I step off the plane, I'm freaking coughing and splitting because the cold's licked me, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my god. But these are pros. I get it. They're conditioned different. Yeah, these guys are physical specimens. They're at the peak of physical fitness. But I honestly just sit to myself and think, we've sat and waxed lyrical about all the depth that we have now,
Yeah.
those kind of decisions are not testament to the depth. And if you're one of those players, right? Let's say that I know Taki got a short run out, but let's say that you're Taki, right? And you're sat there going, this game's got my name written all over it. Yeah, Mo's just come back. I'm gonna get a little run out, little Premier League run.
Mane's not back yet.
And then Mane's not back yet. We're in the fucking money here. And out of nowhere, you see Mo stripping off his shorts. You're stripping off his trackies. You're gonna be sat there thinking, "You taking a fucking piss?" do you know what I mean? I don't know what taking the piss is in Japanese, but I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh.
No, I mean that's the thing, though, isn't it? That's what I was saying.
The piss.
Yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. This is my point with Taki Minamino. He is what he is. He's now another peg down. You know, he's already not really. When Mane and Salah were away, and before we signed Diaz, out of the 3 or 4 games, I think he started one, featured in another one. So he wasn't even getting game time when they weren't here. Now we've got Mane, Salah, and Diaz, and Jota, and Firmino. What's the point? Yes, Norwich away, MK Dons away in the League Cup 3 times a season. Is that really what Taki Minamino wants out of his football career? I don't think so. Time to go. Taki the piss, come on. That's the thing, isn't it? If he's sitting on the sidelines, he has to appreciate where he is in this squad, and you know he is the bottom of the pile, isn't he? Him and Origi are only going to feature from now on, from September to November in the League Cup. January, possibly if we get a half decent draw. And as soon as we get someone decent, we've got 5 to rotate in 3 positions anyway. So I think summer, time's up. You recovered, you're right.
I'm actually crying. Are you Taki the piss?
It's a good headline. Taki the Mick. That'd be better, a bit more political. But yeah, you know, like you say, he's getting cameo performances, 2 minutes. We've already, like, good comment from Sean. We've already got Gordon coming through. You know, he can't be that far off of Minamino, really, can he? In a couple of years' time, maybe even a year.
Look, at the end of the day, we're challenging on all 4 fronts. We need players, and this is the thing, and this is why I say that we've spoken so much about squad depth, but have we really shown squad depth tonight, or we defaulted back to type? I understand we've got one of the best players in world football, and like I always say, you don't drive your Rolls Royce to the corner shop. And that's what it felt like to me tonight. Bringing Mo on, it felt like we're driving the Rolls Royce to the corner shop. Why did we not go for the fucking Honda Jazz in Taki Minamino and take it down to the local fucking Asda? To be fair, but
I mean, like you say, you look at the unused subs tonight: Keita, Chamberlain, Milner, Smikas, Kanate. It's pretty good, isn't it? You know, we have had at times this season, no disrespect whatsoever, because fair play, they're bloody brilliant. Tyler Morton, Cade Gordon, and the like, they're fantastic. But, you know, they're now struggling to get a position on the bench because our first choice, full strength, you know, men's senior team is that strong and now healthy and available as well, which we always cry about availability. So, you know, shout out to your mate, Thiago, mate. You know, 90 minutes tonight, looked good on and off the ball as well. To see him get through 90 minutes was fantastic. So more of the same, please.
Mate, Thiago today was absolutely fucking. Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna wax lyrical because
you don't get many chances, mate. You barely play, so
you've been getting tucked into Thiago.
I have been
over the last couple of days. If I can show you the WhatsApp. If I could show the WhatsApp conversation, the viewers would be horrified at your slurs towards Thiago. So I'm gonna back my boy. Yeah,
go on.
Thiago tonight was at the heart of everything great. Yeah, wanted the ball,
he's brilliant.
Showed in possession. Link up play was absolutely fantastic as well.
Yeah,
he was absolutely sensational. And then to cap it off, he had the audacity to try the overhead kick as well.
Yeah,
Mwah.
that would have been good.
This is
No,
this is
you know,
is what I'm talking about.
I'm criticizing him when he's not playing well, when he's not available, but I'll praise him when he does. And he played 90 minutes for the first time in about 3 months, and he played well, brilliantly. Well done. That's a good 90 minutes. Can you do it next week? Can you do it the week after that? Can you do it? Because he's just missed 9 games. Can he play 9 games in a row? That's where I get it.
No, I get it. I just think that and do you know what? This isn't just unique to you. I think a lot of people have this same view of Thiago, but all I say to people is kind of broaden your horizons and open up your eyes, because we knew this when we signed him. This isn't anything new. This isn't something which has just cropped up on us going, oh, he's not fit, for fuck's sake. We knew this. And this is why for me as a huge Thiago fan, I don't sit there and go, oh, he's injured again, damn it. I sit there and go, oh, he's injured again. Okay, cool. Well, someone else has got to step up, because when he comes back, I know he's going to be an absolute fucking ace. Because ultimately, his injury record at Barcelona wasn't great. His injury record at Bayern wasn't great. His injury record currently at Liverpool isn't great. This isn't anything new. So for me as a huge Thiago fan, I just roll with it. I embrace it. He's a 30-something, which is putting on a passing clinic, when he plays. And it is as simple as that. We take advantage of it when he does play, but we're Liverpool Football Club. And this is why I'm saying the depth is so important. We find another way to play when he's unavailable. We've got other midfielders that can slot in there, that can contribute. You think about Harvey Elliott coming back into there. You think about Jones is now fit as well. Dare I say it, Naby Keita, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Morton if we need to. There's players in there that can contribute if Thiago is not fit. So, all I would say is just adjust your expectations and you will be more pleasantly surprised when he is fit and available.
There's no one that wants him to do better than me. If he goes and starts playing brilliantly and scores, assists, I'll be loving it. But I don't judge. I cannot accept and judge a player based on, it's all right if he turns up, it's all right if he's injured, because it's not. I don't want a team of, we've got Keita, Ox, Henderson, and Thiago. As long as one of them or two of them are fit, 50% of the time will be all right. For me, that's just that's not, facts or opinion. It's just what I believe as a football coach with him in my own right. And if I had 4 players that were more unavailable than they were available, I'd get rid of a lot of them and bring in 3 that actually were available all the time. So for me, yes, I understand what Thiago offers to a squad, offers to a club. I get that. I get he's a Rolls Royce of a player. I get he's not going to play 50 games a season like Genie. He's a totally different player to that. But he needs to actually, there's a certain percentage of games he needs to be available for. And for me, he's below that currently. If he can stay fit from now to the end of the season and contribute consistently across the 4 competitions that we remain in, then fantastic.
I think the issue is more exasperated by the other sick notes we have in the squad, and this is why I defend the Thiago topic, because if we're getting at Thiago, Keita should have been gone ages ago.
Agreed.
If we're getting at Thiago, Ox for all his sins should have been gone ages ago.
Agreed.
If those two players were replaced by more robust players, because we signed those 2 players with the intention that they could play 30 to 40 games.
100%.
We didn't sign Thiago with the intention of 30 to 40 games. He's giving us what we signed him for, if you get what I mean.
Not yet. I think he is below that at the minute.
No, if you look at his ratio of games that he's played across his whole entire career, he's hitting the measure. Yes, we want more. You always want more, but he's hitting the realistic expectation which has been set, which is what he's doing at the moment.
But then he can never get to that level though, because he gets 3 or 4 games and he gets an injury. He gets 5, 6 games and he gets an injury. So I want to see him dipping in and out of the team not necessarily
I get
because of
it.
injury, but because we don't need him in every game. I want him to be able to maintain that
I get it.
level and dip in and out of the team, not go, I'm brilliant. Oh, I didn't play for 9 games. Oh, I've got to take another 4 games to get back to that level again.
I get it. But I think, as I said, I think that problem is exasperated by the fact that
No, it is.
are
I agree with you.
we somewhat overplaying him because of the frailties with others?
Yeah.
Because I know from me personally, if I'm looking at it, I'm going to turn around and say, right, we're going up against Manchester City today. Thiago, you're in.
Yeah.
We're going up against Bayern in the Champions League. Thiago, you're in. Yeah. We're going to Leicester. Do you know what? Cater, come on, man. This is made for you. We're going Burnley. Cater,
Exactly.
this is made for you. We're
That's
going
what I mean.
against West Ham. Ox, this is made for you. But you
Yeah.
can't do that. You've got to go Thiago. Oh, fuck, he's injured again. Shit.
Yeah, that's the
Do
thing.
you know what I
You
mean?
want to look at your garage of cars, and depending on where you're going, you want to choose the one that suits the journey, don't you? But you don't want to have to pick, well, I've got to go
Exactly.
in this one because the other 3 are in the
Yeah.
garage. That's
Yeah.
that's exactly where I want to be, and I completely
Yeah.
agree with you. There's too many
Yeah.
there's too many at the garage at too often, isn't there, at the moment? So we do need
100%.
if it, like, we look at the squad now. Henderson, short term, Klopp said he's not going to be out for long, so you'd expect him to be at least available for Burnley, whether not from the start or not. But are we going to then be able? Now we've got a big squad. Can we start to rotate, play players as many minutes as they should be playing, and against the opposition that suits them? Yeah. So if that's the case, what you've just said with Cater suits that, Ox suits that, Tiger suits that. That's how you win multiple trophies, doubles, trebles that we've talked about before.
Exactly. And that's where, and do you know what? For all the stick that Manchester City get, that's where Manchester City win, because they can afford to turn around and drop Raheem Sterling, who's been fucking fantastic for 3 games, and say, listen, Raheem, you're going to hold bench for 3 games, because guess what? We're going to dust off Bernardo Silva and let him play a little bit. Yeah, let Bernardo get a little run out for 3 games, and then we're going to bring you back in. And nobody bats an eyelid. Whereas Liverpool fans, we get all panicked because the situation is exasperated by the poor injury record of others. Do you know? Fuck it. The poor injury record of all of them. The situation is exasperated. So I get it, and like I said, my little analogy of you don't drive the Rolls Royce to the corner shop, because you don't. Yeah, that, I'm sorry, with respect, Ox, that's what you're there for. Yeah, we're taking you down to 1 stop, bro. Like, this is what we need.
Taking the missus out is Thiago in the Rolls.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. You're going 1 stop. Cater, we're taking you to Asda. Thiago, we're going to Harrods. Do you see what I'm saying?
One for the football coaching, one for the shopping, one for the night out.
This is what I'm saying. This is what it's about, and this is why rotation is absolutely fantastic, because different players.
But that's the difference, isn't it? We've been picking players who are available. We've picked an 11 based on who are the fittest 11. Whereas, like you've just said with Man City, they've had the choice based on preference of player in that specific fixture for the last 3-4 years. We haven't. You look at the front 3 when Mane and Firmino dipped. That was it. That was our front 3. Mane, you've been crap for 5 games. Firmino, you've not scored in 7 games. You've not scored at home for a year. Guess who's up front this week? Firmino. So
100%.
now we've got Jota, we've got Diaz, and you go, do you know what, Mane and Firmino? If you don't score for 10 games, you got to earn your place back, son.
And no, I'm not, Damien. I'm not making a case for Ginny, because this is the opposite of what we're saying about Ginny. Ginny played every single week because we had no other choice. He played every single week because we were forced to play him. And if you think about the last season that Ginny Wijnaldum was with us, you and I sat SS and watched the game, and he was sat there tying his shoelaces while play was going on, because he was knackered. We ran that man into the ground because we had no other options but to play him. Everybody talks about how Ginny Wijnaldum was always available. He had to be available. Yeah. We've been very vocal about players and their well-being and the fixture congestion and fixture pile-up. If we had other options that were fit and able and ready in the squad, Ginny Wijnaldum would not have played. And I can categorically stand here and say this, he would not have played the number of games for Liverpool Football Club that he did. He would not have done, because you would have had other bodies in and around him. And the reason why I say that is because before Oxlade-Chamberlain had his injury against Roma in the Champions League, Gini Wijnaldum was not the first name on the team sheet. There, I said it. Ox was the first name on the team sheet. Gini Wijnaldum could not get a look in. What Gini did was took his opportunity and profited off the back of the fact that Oxlade-Chamberlain was a sick note. And Jurgen Klopp, being Jurgen Klopp, actually gave Ox a year's extension to then turn round after the injury, or renewed his contract again after the injury to go and prove himself, to go and challenge Gini Wijnaldum for that starting position, but he was unable to do that because of injury. So I hate when Liverpool fans and our fan base sit and wax lyrical about the availability of Gini Wijnaldum. We had to do it. We were forced to do it. And it caught up with us with all those injuries.
I think it's a bit of both. I think Gini Wijnaldum was massively underrated as a player still by everybody in the fan base and in the Premier League. I think he was brilliant at what he did. You're right. His greatest asset was his availability. And I agree with you again. He wasn't always the first choice in 2017, 2018. Ox, etc. did keep him out at times. But you're right. His consistency and his availability made him a mainstay in that midfield, and he took his chance. And then he started to, his levels, because of that consistency, which is what I'm talking about. Thiago remained up here because he never missed a game. He never ever. He wasn't out for a month, 2 months, 3 months. So he even if he missed a game, he'd be straight back in the next one at that top level. So I agree with what Damien's saying, because I'm probably Gini's biggest fan. I would never have let him go. He'd be in this midfield for me until he was in his mid-30s. I think he was a fantastic player, but he definitely took his chance in terms of being consistent, and that's what made him a better player, because he was always there. And as Liverpool grew, Gini grew, and he started to contribute in these big moments. He came off the bench against Barcelona and proved what we were missing.
You can't underpin the contribution in the Barcelona game for Liverpool Football Club. I'm not sitting here turning around and saying that Gini Wijnaldum was not a fantastic asset to Liverpool Football Club, because he was. But let's call it as it is. He's gone to PSG and can't even get a look in. The reason why he can't get a look in is because when you're at PSG, your availability doesn't mean fuck all. Your technical ability is everything. There are other players around him, i.e. Marco Verratti, which are technically more proficient than him. So the question lies here. And this is why I say it. Had we had players which were just as available as him, let's call it as it is. Thiago and Gini. If Thiago had the same fitness record as Gini Wijnaldum, it would not even be a debate. Gini would be nowhere near, because he couldn't even when Oxlade-Chamberlain was in the squad with a fit Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gini could not displace Ox. What makes you think he's going to displace Thiago? This is why he's having the issues he's having and the stumbling blocks he's having at PSG. And that isn't a slur on Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum was fantastic, but his main attribute was his availability. But there's players at PSG in his position which are just as available as him, but they are more technically
That's the
proficient.
problem. Is he's now got the opposite problem, because when he does get his chance at PSG, he can't suddenly be a Verratti in not play one game a month. He's not going to come in and shine, because he's not that level. His best thing is when he's playing consistently, and that's how you get the best out of him. Now you say he's getting 60 minutes here, 30 minutes here, not playing 30 minutes. You get a start. You didn't do great. You come off after 60 minutes, and that's not how Gini becomes Gini, the best version of him. That's why he was so good, because Liverpool played in that way that suited him. He was the perfect cog in that midfield, and he played every single minute, every single week. And that's why he was the best football he's ever played in his career, will always be at Liverpool.
So just to satisfy Damien, let's actually look at these numbers, right? Now let's look at these numbers, because I am confident in what I'm saying. 2017, Oxlade-Chamberlain was a guaranteed starter. First name on that Liverpool team sheet was Ox, because he was absolutely insane in 2017. So let's do a quick comparison of this, just to see where Ox was at in terms of his starts and where Gini was. And we're gonna go up until the injury.
I'm pretty
wonder
sure in Chamberlain's first season, he played a lot of Premier League games for us.
he played a ton of Premier League games for
I
us.
think Genie did as well.
But this is what I'm saying. It was obviously the injury that was the issue. So hold on, what have we got here? Ox in 2017-18 we signed him, weren't it?
Yeah.
Right,
So he
35.
played 42 games all comps that season.
Yeah, 35 appearances.
Genie played 50
in the Premier League. In the Premier League, yeah.
in the
How many
Premier.
did
It was
Genie?
32.
32 for who?
32 for Ox, 33 for Genie in that first Prem season where they played together.
Right.
So I think they were in the midfield pretty much. It was those two because it was Fabinho and Henderson still there, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Or was Fabinho there by then?
Fabinho had just come as well. So then we look at 2018-19, 2 appearances.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can see and then you look at Ginny's appearances going on from there.
Fabinho wasn't there. Fabinho was 18-19. So like you say, we had Hendo, Genie, and Ox as our midfield, really.
And Ox in the midfield. Well, Ox probably playing the anchor in that midfield. This is what I'm saying. So it makes it interesting because you look at, and I don't want to labour this, but you look at the PSG situation. Ginny's dropped a fucking clanger. He's dropped a clanger because Liverpool wanted to keep him. We wanted him there. It's not like we didn't want him. We offered him something. And he said, no, I'm worth more than that. I back my ability. And rightly so. If you're a player, you back your ability. He backed his ability and said, I'm good enough to go and play at one of Europe's best sides in PSG or initially it was Barcelona who were in the mud at the time. But whatever way you want to do it. I back my ability to go and play at a European powerhouse. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. Yeah. But he's gone there and it's just not worked out. It's not worked out. And it's not worked out solely because there are players in his position which are as available as him, but more technically proficient than him.
And they play 2 midfielders, not 3.
To play in the PSG system. And you know, I'll place that caveat on it. To play in the PSG system. Because the Liverpool system is different to any other system out there. And Gini Wijnaldum was fantastic in our system.
Yeah, they've also got 4 attackers that won't sit on the bench.
Exactly. They've got to fit those boys in. They've got to play them. They've got to play them, man. How do you turn around and say how do you turn around and say Neymar, Mbappe, Di Maria,
Messi,
Messi,
hug
that bench. We got to play Gini Wijnaldum. They're gonna go. Are you taking a fucking piss?
maybe we'll get more game time if Mbappe moves on. Maybe Gini will get more in the team. But unfortunately, we've seen it with Coutinho, with Emre Can. They think they're better than they are. They move to these big teams, and it's a bit of a drop from when you leave Liverpool, unfortunately. So good points from Damien. I enjoyed that chat.
Yeah, big shout out to you, Damien, and thank you for the engagement as well. It's great to see our viewers engaging with us. And guys, if you engage with us, we will always engage back with you as well. Guys, we're just going to start to wrap the shop as well before we get into more previous Liverpool debates.
We need Klopp signing before we wrap up, don't we?
Yes, we do. So, guys, in the comments, who do we feel is the best signing of the Jurgen Klopp era? So massive
call.
I'll let you. Listen, I know who you're gonna pick. You're like, Mohamed Salah. Oh no, come on. Who are you picking?
I mean,
SS? Really? Come on, really?
It's definitely out of 3, isn't it? It's Alisson, Van Dijk, or Salah. It has to be one of those 3. You know, Robertson, he was a great signing for £8 million, but the 3 players that have made this team from a top 4 to a title, from a quarter-final of a Champions League to winning it, are those 3. Without a top goalkeeper, you win sod all. And, you know, we've had Mignolet, Karius, good Lord. So just to finally get an Alisson, for me, if Alisson doesn't come, we don't win any of those trophies that we've won. You know, that 2019, 2020, where we won everything, no chance we would won that without Alisson. And Van Dijk is exactly the same. That defense was nowhere near what it was. He came in that January and he was the difference. He was the guy that made Liverpool step up from you know, decent to very, very, very good. And for me, those two are maybe slightly more important than Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been insane and scored a ridiculous amount of goals. And again, there's no point having a great defense without a great striker. So it's definitely the combination of the two. But for me, if I had to be really, really, really harsh, I would narrow it down to Alisson and Van Dijk. And for me,
what about Fabinho? Does he not enter? Does Fab not enter in competition?
He does.
Because,
I mean,
or conversation, because you think where we were in that Champions League loss, no Fab.
Yeah,
Van Dijk was there. Van Dijk was there, and Chan was playing holding midfield.
No, it's a great point. And again, you don't win anything without a decent CDM. As soon as Real Madrid sold Makalele, they won sod all. Absolutely nothing.
The team is vital, and teams will play. And this is why. And Damien, great minds think alike. Fabinho is my best Klopp signing, because the fee, 36 million pounds for the fee. Yeah, we beat Manchester United to the signing. Let's share a joke, Liverpool fans. Manchester United, the great Manchester United, went into the market and said, and actually had control of the market at that point, and said, who do we sign? We need a DM. Fred or Fabinho?
Oh God! Whoopsie!
Oh my God! Do we sign Fred, or do we sign? I know Fred looks great on his YouTube clips. Let's sign him.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Fucking mugs. And then now the rest is history. Manchester United are residing in the dirt, and Liverpool are in the upper echelons of European royalty and the Premier League. How not to make a defensive midfield signing?
I'm going Van Dijk.
United.
I'm going Van Dijk. Without him, we don't take that jump up.
Guys in the comments, smash the likes. Please tell us quickly before we close, who is your top signing of the Klopp era for Liverpool?
We've got Joseph.
Mine's Fabinho. Mine's Fabinho.
So TF's VVD, TF is Fabinho, Joseph's VVD, Mark is VVD as well. Colossal never had a world-class centre half. I think we've had very good centre halves in our
Sami Hyypiä, give him some respect.
Jamie Carragher, but for me, Van Dijk turned Liverpool back into that top tier global brand team again. 75 million pounds.
He was there, but he was throughout the pain as well.
He was.
Fab comes in and it's all changed.
But who was in goal behind him?
I hear that. So Alisson Becker's the real MVP then, really?
You could argue. That's what I'm saying. But between the two, but then you could flip it around and say, well, if we had Alisson against Madrid in that Champions League final, but not Van Dijk, would that have made a difference to the result? Who knows? It might have done. It might not have done. But that's what I'm saying. No quality world-class team wins anything without a quality goalie, a quality centre-back, and a quality spine. That is what you have to get. You have to build from the back to the front.
Yep.
You have to stop the goals going in before you start to look at the front. So it's a brilliant question.
Yeah, this is it from a Liverpool perspective, though. This is no disrespect to Mohamed Salah. Yeah, we've always had goals. We had goals before Salah.
Yeah,
we will have goals after Salah. Liverpool have a knack for always having a top draw number 9. The list is endless.
Yeah.
Endless. Keegan, Kenny, Fowler, Rush, Fowler, Torres,
Owen.
Suarez, Owen. The list is endless. We always have top draw finishers. Where we've fallen down is the defensive side of things in terms of the spine and the goalkeeper. So all of those three could be considered. We could say that Liverpool, that Jurgen Klopp went out and said, right, we're going to go and get the best goalkeeper in world football, Alisson Becker. We're going to get the best centre back in world football, in Virgil van Dijk, and we're going to go out and get the best CDM or up and coming CDM in world football, because in his time at Real Madrid, he was actually playing right back. Real Madrid had the cheek to play him as a fullback. This is what I'm saying.
They'd be crying out for him now, wouldn't they? Blimey.
This is what I'm saying, and this for me capitulates it. Compounds it for me. He only cost us £35 million. Oh, or is
Yeah,
he referring to Mohamed Salah?
I think he might be. Yeah,
He's
but I mean,
referring
like
to
you say,
Mohamed Salah.
the fact that this is such a difficult question to answer just shows you how many quality signings,
He's
Jurgen
made.
Klopp's made. Because the likes of Andy Robertson for £8 million isn't even
Oh,
getting a
that.
mention. Isn't even
Yeah.
getting a
How did we?
mention
Yeah.
because
Oh.
you look at the way Liverpool played. Let's be fair, the fullbacks are what makes Liverpool Liverpool. Like the DNA of how good this Liverpool team is, the assists that Trent and Robertson get, they are so important to how we play. Yes, Samikas is decent.
Yeah.
He's done well,
Yeah.
but Robertson 17, 18, 19, incredible. £8
Do you
million
know what,
quid.
guys? We are gonna end it there because
We
we
are.
could
Go on all night.
go on. We could go on all night. There's an argument for every single one of those players at the moment. We
Yeah.
think about Mane as well, which almost kind of
Yeah.
kick-started the
Yeah.
Klopp era
Absolutely.
as well. Gini Wijnaldum, part of that also. The whole Jurgen Klopp gang all has its importance to the way that Liverpool play at the moment. But guys, please look out for us on Twitter because we're going to take this question to Twitter. We haven't done a poll for a while. We're probably going to do a thread on Twitter just as to who is Jurgen Klopp's best and most impactful signing. So if you're not already, head over to the Red Sea Podcast on Twitter. Well, obviously, we're here on YouTube. We're on Instagram as well as the Red Sea Podcast too. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you're subscribing. Thank you for joining us for our sort of Red Sea full-time show after the Leicester game. Liverpool 2, Leicester City 0. The Reds march on into the weekend versus Burnley. And then we've also got a game in hand over Manchester City. We're over and we are out.